At electronics that I take on hunting trips, and just kind of how I think about it, how I pack them, how I protect them. And you know, everybody's different. Everybody has different preferences on these things, but you know, many of these trips are once in a lifetime trips. So I try to make sure that I can bring back as many memories and as high a quality of those memories as possible. And you know, in doing that, you have to take really good care of your equipment. So first and foremost, I do pack an iPad when I travel, and there's really two reasons for it. The iPad makes communication a little easier, so I can send and receive emails. I can keep in contact a little bit, so I just you know, kind of use it for that. But it also allows you to capture some memories when you're on the plane, you know. So while flying, you can kind of type a little bit of your experiences. You can download photographs, and for that reason, I do you know, I do travel with an iPad. Now, the iPad itself doesn't go in with the rest of my electronics. The iPad stays in this Thule case, and I carry it on a small backpack that I carry on the plane. Now, the majority of the equipment that I take, I actually do go through the effort of taking an extra carry-on piece. And the additional carry-on piece that I take is this Pelican 1510 case. It meets all the airline requirements, and you can lock this sucker up. So I do carry a big ass padlock with it that I lock it up with, because the stuff in here, when I'm asleep on a plane, I don't want people to mess around with it. The same in camp. I use a big enough padlock so I can chain it to a bed or something and make sure it doesn't go walkabout. But let's open this up and see what's inside. So as I said, the biggest thing for me is really taking care of capturing equipment. So for me, I really do take a good quality camera. I've never been sorry to carry and lug this deal around. I use a Canon. Again, it's personal preference, but that's great for capturing, you know, wildlife, especially when you're on the truck going to a hunt and coming back from a hunt. It does allow you to you know, to take really good quality photographs. But we'll start up top and unpack this thing and just talk a little bit about the different things. So in this slot up here, I have all the charging devices for cameras. So spare battery, charger for that battery. I take two cameras, so I'll show you. I take a small Canon, which I put in my pocket for doing the hunting photographs. So that's the charger for the batteries on the small Canon. And then these guys from Pelican, when I bought the case, they give you this little wallet to put the memory cards in. So I'll fill this up with maybe 3 or 4 additional memory cards, SD cards, and it stays in here very well protected. The nice thing about these Pelican cases is they all have a rubber deal, so you don't have dust creep into the case, you know. So it's I like this. This thing also, it has really thick rubber in there, so you don't have a lot of dust in. You know, it keeps your expensive equipment really well protected. And I bet if you drop this thing in water, it may even keep the water out. I don't know. Then at the bottom here, if I do travel and I have to take long shots or very accurate shots, I do prefer to take a rangefinder. It's small enough to carry on your person when you go hunt. So in Tanzania, when I hunted the gazelles, you know, I like to know at least how far they're out, so I use this. And then also on crocodile hunt, I like this deal because it could tell me exactly how far that crocodile was away, and it helps me with placing that shot accurately. Now this is something that I'm taking for the first time. It's called a bivy stick. It's just a satellite communication device. You pair it with your cell phone. And I'll talk about this in a little more detail later when we look at the box where this bivy stick came in. Then I have my binoculars that I carry. I pack them in here, very well protected. And then if you have any scope that has a illuminated reticle, I always take a couple extra of these CR2032 batteries that most of my scopes take that have illuminated reticles, because you can't buy these things readily in Africa. Then if we look at this big area here on the right, I think the most important thing that you'll pack is your power socket adapter. And I like this one from Travel Smart. There's a couple of features on this thing. Again, you know, it has every conceivable permutation of where to plug it in. So you can use it pretty much in each country that you go to. You'll be able to plug this thing in. Now, most other adapters don't have the electronic part in the center, which has two really nice attributes, I feel, on this thing. And this will be the third time I take it with me, so it's lasted quite a bit. So firstly, it has a USB connector, so to charge a cell phone is easy, and you know, it has the transformer inside, so it doesn't toast your battery. And then it also comes with a surge protector, so if inadvertently a generator would go off and they start it again, and you know, you have that power surge, it's okay. This thing has a surge protector inside it. But I like this one because it can do, at the same time, it can do a cell phone and another item. So you can actually plug this into a single socket and at least charge two different items at the same time. Then, as I said, I take a small Canon as well. This one, I actually take it out of the bag and I just carry this in my pocket when I hunt. So I take this and I throw it in my shirt pocket, left hand pocket, and this is good enough for doing all my hunting photographs. And this little deal actually takes a really good quality video as well, so a very handy deal. The batteries last quite a bit, and I do take a spare battery or two in the little hard case that it has, and I just charge them up ahead of time so that we have a fair bit of juice to go in there. Now the next one is something which, again, it's a personal choice. You don't have to take one. It depends where you hunt. If I hunt in South Africa or somewhere where there's good cell phone reception, I don't bother with a satellite phone. But if I go somewhere where it's really off the beaten path, like Nyasa in Mozambique or Zambezi Valley maybe, you know, then I think it's well worth taking a satellite phone, and we'll talk a little bit about the satellite phone later as well. But I do take a spare battery for it, and with this one, it actually came with a charger cable that you can plug into the hunting vehicle. So when I see the batteries go down, I'll just have them charge it in the hunting vehicle. And then for the rest, it's really, you know, how to clean the lenses on the optics. So I pack some cleaning stuff, and then obviously, you know, you need to make sure that you have charging cables for everything. But the most important thing, I think, is your cell phone. And you know, the cell phone is really, these days, it can take good quality video, good quality photographs, and with Wi-Fi capabilities in most camps, you know, you can send and communicate with it very, very easily. So that's all my electronic stuff, and we'll take a small break and then just talk about the communication stuff on the bivy stick and the satellite phone by themselves. In regards to this bivy stick, it's the first time that I'm going to use this on safari, but I'll just quickly unpack it and you can have a quick look at kind of how it arrives. So it comes in a box, bivy stick's in there, and then on this side you have charging cable and a couple of deals to attach it with, but I don't care for that much. Now what this bivy stick does is it has an integral battery that you can charge, and it basically becomes the conduit between your cell phone or your iPad and somebody else on the other side that you can then communicate with via texting. It will also share your location, and you can also get some weather information off it. And if you look at the bottom here, it has this little red button that says SOS. This actual device is paired with Global Rescue. So if you have a medical emergency and you have alerted global rescue of your specific machine. You don't have to call them. You can simply press this and you are in communication with them, and they will know that you have a medical emergency somewhere. And that was a big consideration for me to buy the Bivy Stick instead of a Garmin. There's a couple of different other brands that you can use to communicate via text. Now, as I said, this is a device that you have to have you have to have your cell phone as well. So basically what happens is you have an app on your cell phone that you utilize to construct text. You can put anybody and everybody that you want to talk to, put their phone numbers in there, and it will use that app to send a text to these people, and then obviously you can receive text back. So you don't have to leave it on all the time. You can switch it off, and then it has a button here that you can go and retrieve texts once you switch it back on. So it has pretty long battery life. They claim 120 hours, but anything that lasts more than a full day for me in the hunting field, and I can then charge it overnight, that's perfectly fine. So I use this. My wife usually goes hunting with me, so it's a really handy way to keep in contact with kids, texting them, and they receive the text as if it came from another phone. It's just on whoever sends it that you have to use the app, and then obviously your messages goes to that app. It's not a very expensive thing. I don't, memory might leave me here, but it was less than $200 to buy the hardware, and then you have to take 4 months worth of I'm going to call it airtime when you activate it. So I just do it 4 months ahead of my hunt, and you can bank all those minutes. So I'll bank 3 months minutes, go there, and I don't have to pay anything extra. And the cheapest rate you can go in on this gig was like $35 a month. So it's $120, and my wife can send as many texts and receive as many texts as she wants to, because I've banked all the time. So very simple device. You just carry it with you. And my wife can carry it on her, and whenever she has a moment, she can, she doesn't have to have anything else. It works off the satellites, so it's a very simple device, rigorous device, and it's waterproof as well. So if you drop it or whatever and it falls in the pond or something, it's not gonna die on you that quickly. So I like this thing. As I said, it's the first time I'm going to use it, but it seems pretty stout and easy to use. Now finally, we're gonna take a quick look at my satellite phone. You can see this is the iSat Phone Pro. It's serviced by the Inmarsat satellite service. You can see from the box that this phone has seen some service. I actually bought this the first time I did a overland trip in Botswana with the wife and a small kid. So when my son was little, I just thought it would be wise to have a way to communicate easily while you're really far from everything. And I've just kept it and used it ever since, and it's just something that has proved to be very simple to use. So it's a handheld, just like a cell phone. It's a little bigger. It comes with battery, and the only thing with this is you can't really type a message out on this. It doesn't have a alphabetical keyboard. You've got to type it like on a phone, and that is just absolutely cumbersome. That's why I got the Bivy Stick, because to try and type a text on this thing takes forever and a day. But you need blue sky for this thing to work. And the nice thing about it is it comes with it came with every charging device, every plug known to mankind. So you can charge this thing off a USB, you can charge it off a truck, you can charge it off a socket, and it's very simple to use. Now the other thing is I bought this from a company in Florida, and I have no data plan or anything, or any time plan with it. I simply pre-charge the SIM card with maybe $120 before I go on a 2-week hunt. and that's plenty for me to make and receive calls. So I mainly use this thing to call out. So if I need to, you know, if we're in a bind, or if my wife needs to talk to my son urgently, you know, if she gets a text which is upsetting or whatever, or there's some help needed, she has the capacity and the ability to give him a call and talk to him. So it's just a pre-charge with money on the SIM card, and it works perfectly easy. It's not crazy expensive either. So there you have it. You know, this is kind of how I take care of my electronics, how I think about it, and the actual things I take. You know, it seems a little over elaborate, but it really depends on where I'm going. You know, if we go somewhere in South Africa, you know, I don't even ever bother with the bivy stick or the satellite phone or whatever. But you know, as soon as you go into a place which is 200,000 or bigger acres and there's nobody there, and it's far away from everything, I think it's just sensible to have all these things with you. You never know, you know, if you're prepared, bad things, I guess, never come to you. But if you're not prepared, that's the one time that you'll be in a bind.